Hi, good evening. My name is Adriana Pollitt. I am from El Paso, Texas. So, for the first question, what disposition that you possess will make you a successful teacher? I've been very fortunate to work with the city where I did the after school program as well as summer programs to be able to work with students. Um, and eventually, within the years, I finally worked for the school district where I had the chance to work as student support for my first year working at a district. Um, I plan on, I'm sorry, I hear my kids in the background. So the thing that I feel would make me a successful teacher is for sure being patient. I think that's something that is really needed just because students do learn differently. They all adapt differently, and every student is different. Although you have a plan, sometimes, things don't go as planned. As a teacher, you got to just go with the punches and, make it a successful year, is what I've learned. Deal with what you got and just keep moving forward. The second question is, what dispositions do you need to work before you enter the classroom as a first year teacher? I know as a first year teacher, I've seen that, you're going in new, you're nervous, you have to go into a rhythm and into a routine. I know with elementary kids, it's a lot different. It's based off of lesson plans that you have to plan. As for high school, I know that there's lesson plans, but there's a huge difference between like elementary kids and high schoolers. High schoolers are more liable of like talking back, of course, and everything. It's just something like to prepare for as a first year teacher. What attributes should a professional educator have, and how should they behave? What standards guides their thinking and actions? So I feel like as educators, as frustrated as we get, I feel like everything should be kept professional. There's certain ways to do certain things. There's, certain people to call if you do need help, bringing it up to administrators or even talking to peers to see how they handle their classroom is what I've learned. I've had the benefit to work at a high school where it was a really bad environment. You pick your battles. But most importantly, like being professional to make sure that, your students like get that respect for you. How might teacher dispositions positively or negatively influence the psychological and moral development of adolescents? I feel like as educators, it's very important, to be a positive impact in a student's life. One thing for me that I've learned, I did work with someone that's very strong, personality. So the way that she did things, I did see like a kind of reaction from students. Whereas I try to relate to them. As an adult, it's hard to think or even know what students go through. I think that's just something that is really important, is being that positive impact, being able to get your students to comfortably walk to you and ask you for help, ask you for advice, pushing them to do good, kind of go and let them know what your life lessons were when you were in school and how you dealt with things. I feel like the world is so cruel nowadays that not everyone sees how it could impact early adolescence. How will you uphold the expectations of a profession, including codes of ethics, professional standards of practice, and relevant laws and policies? I'm a very rule follower. It's something that needs to be brought up in class automatically from day one, setting the rules, and it becomes a routine for them. I think that although, of course, like I said, try to relate with the students, although you can relate to them, sometimes you do have to be stern and you have to put your feelings away. At the end of the day, it's your job, and as much as you want to help them, sometimes, I mean, it's sad, but you can't. And you can't let go of something that you've worked for so hard just slip through your fingers. How will you promote healthy moral developments with students in your future classroom? My goal is same thing that I've been doing for years. I've always tried to, again, relate to the student, and hear them out. Like, sometimes you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know what struggles they go through. Sometimes school is the only place that is a safe zone for them. And some people don't really get to see that. You know, being that positive impact of pushing, hey, like, you should doing this, or hey, you wouldn't be interested in this, like any school activity, anything to keep them out of trouble, really. And it's just something that needs to be like more pushed towards for people, like for students, really. As educators, we're molding the future, and I think it's really important to be black and white with things sometimes. There's the way the kids are raised, and there's so many different outputs that can have a lot to do with how your students end up in the future. But of course, as I'm going into my education life, I've been fortunate to work with so many different educators with different views, different tactics that they used in their class. And I know that if I ever fall into like a little stumble in my career, good thing my best friend is an educator. She went from doing 5th grade to 3rd grade, and now she's doing kindergarten, which is a huge change for her. You know, so just having a good support system, making sure that we have someone to back us and that we're doing it for the right reasons, which is trying to mold our future to be the better. Thank you.